Have you ever felt like you're doing something that no one else understands? You have this deep conviction, this gut feeling that you're on the right path, but to everyone else, it looks, well, a little crazy. That's a story as old as time, and one of the most powerful examples comes from a man named Noah. Imagine this, a world full of life, sunshine, and routine. People going about their daily business, planning for tomorrow, for next year, for the next decade. And in the middle of all this normalcy, there's Noah. He's received a message. A warning from God about a flood that will cover the entire earth. And with that warning came a command: build an ark, a massive, colossal boat. Now picture Noah and his family. The sun beats down on them as they head out, not to farm their fields or visit the market, but to chop down massive gopher wood trees. The sound of axes echoes through the forest, the rhythmic thud of wood splitting. This isn't a weekend project, this is a life-consuming mission. Day after day, they fell trees, haul lumber, and begin the slow, arduous process of construction. Think about the sheer scale of this. We're not talking about a small fishing boat. The instructions were specific, hundreds of feet long, stories high. It was a floating fortress. The air fills with the sharp scent of sawdust and the constant ringing sound of hammers striking nails. Planks are measured, cut, and fitted together. The sticky, dark pitch is carefully applied, sealing every seam to make it watertight. This is back-breaking, relentless work as the structure begins to take shape. Rising from the ground like a wooden mountain, the neighbors start to notice at first. It's just curiosity. What is Noah building? But as the days turn into weeks and weeks into months, curiosity turns into amusement. You can almost hear the whispers turning into outright laughter. Look at old Noah, building a boat in the middle of dry land. Has he lost his mind? There's not a cloud in the sky. They would gather to watch, pointing and jeering. To them, it was the greatest joke in the world. Noah's project defied all logic. It made no sense. He became a spectacle, the town eccentric. Yet, through all the mockery, the doubt, and the ridicule, Noah kept his head down and his hands busy. He just kept building. Every morning, he woke up not to the sound of praise or encouragement, but to the memory of yesterday's laughter and the certainty of today's. Still, he picked up his hammer. Still, he sawed the wood. Still, he taught his sons the craft, passing on the purpose God had given him. He didn't argue with the mockers or try to convince every skeptic. He simply obeyed. This is the heart of Noah's story. It's not just about a big boat and a lot of animals. It's about faith in action. Faith isn't always a feeling of certainty or a mountaintop experience. Sometimes, faith is the gritty, callous handwork of obedience when you can't see the outcome. It's choosing to trust the one who gave the instructions, even when the instructions seem bizarre to the rest of the world. Noah didn't have a weather forecast. He didn't have a blueprint signed by a naval architect. He had a word from God, and that was enough. His actions declared his belief more loudly than any words could. He believed God, so he built the ark. He trusted God, so he endured the scorn. How often in our own lives are we given an instruction, a nudge, a calling that doesn't make sense to those around us? Maybe it's to start a new venture, to forgive someone, to move to a new city, or to take a stand for what's right even when it's unpopular. The world might look at us and laugh. Our own logic might scream that it's a foolish risk, but Noah's story reminds us that true faith is obedience, especially when we don't understand. It is about trusting the character of the one who calls us more than we trust the circumstances around us. The rain did eventually come. The flood waters did rise. And the ones who were safe were the ones who were inside the vessel built by obedience. What is God asking you to build today? Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that dives deep into these timeless messages. We'll see you in the next video. Have you ever wondered about the story of Noah's Ark? It's more than just a tale about animals walking to buy two. It's a profound story of faith, obedience, and a fresh start for humanity. Let's journey back in time and explore this incredible account. Imagine a world that had strayed far from its original purpose. Amidst all this, there was one man, Noah, who was described as righteous and blameless in his time. He walked faithfully with God, God saw the state of the world and decided to bring a great flood to cleanse the earth and begin anew. But he chose to save Noah and his family. So God gave Noah a monumental task to build a gigantic boat, an ark. The instructions were incredibly specific. It was to be made of cypress wood, covered inside and out with pitch to make it waterproof. It would be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. That's about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Think about the size of a modern-day cargo ship. This was a massive undertaking, especially in an age without power tools or modern construction equipment. For years, possibly decades, Noah and his sons worked tirelessly on this colossal project. Can you imagine what his neighbors must have thought? Here was a man building a massive boat in the middle of dry land. Far from any large body of water, people likely mocked him, questioned his sanity, and dismissed his warnings about a coming flood. Yet, Noah's faith never wavered. He trusted in the instructions he had been given and continued to build, day in and day out, demonstrating incredible perseverance and conviction finally. The day came when the ark was complete. A masterpiece of faith and labor stood ready then. God gave Noah the next set of instructions. He was to bring his wife, his 3 sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives into the ark. But they wouldn't be alone. God commanded Noah to bring aboard animals from every species on earth. The unclean animals were to come in pairs, 1 male and 1 female, but for the clean animals. And the birds of the air, they were to come in 7s. And then, one of the most amazing sights in history must have unfolded. From all corners of the land, animals began to arrive. It wasn't Noah who had to go out and capture them. They came to him. Lions and lambs, bears and giraffes, elephants and eagles, creatures great and small, walking peacefully, side by side, toward the great wooden vessel. Picture this incredible procession, a living, breathing parade of all creation, guided by an unseen hand, making its way to safety. To buy two, they calmly entered the ark, finding their designated places within the massive structure. Once every creature, along with Noah and his family, was safely inside. A remarkable thing happened. It wasn't Noah or his sons who sealed the ark. The Bible tells us that God himself shut the door. This act symbolized a final moment of grace and the beginning of the fulfillment of his plan. The door was closed, sealing those inside from the world outside and protecting them from what was to come. For 7 days, they waited inside the ark. Then the sky began to change. Dark, heavy clouds gathered, blanketing the sky from horizon to horizon. The first drops of rain began to fall, but this was no ordinary storm. The floodgates of the heavens opened, and the springs of the great deep burst forth. Rain poured down relentlessly for 40 days and 40 nights. The water level rose steadily, covering the fields, the hills, and eventually even the highest mountains. Inside the ark, Noah, his family, and all the animals were safe and dry. Gently lifted by the rising waters, they floated on the vast, shoreless ocean that now covered the entire planet. For 150 days, the water prevailed upon the earth, and the ark was their home, their sanctuary. A hope for a new beginning. This story is a powerful reminder of faith in the face of ridicule, the importance of obedience, and the promise of a fresh start. It's an epic that has captivated hearts and minds for thousands of years. What part of Noah's story inspires you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. See you next time.